now we'll get there.
We're talking through this.
We are because,
because,
when you're doing this, you got to like do a couple things at one time. And sometimes Facebook is a little bit slower than I like for it to be, because I am I try not to be an instant gratification kind of person, but I just am. So anyway, but that is why I manifest magic in my everyday life, because I make sure that the things that I would like to come into my life do. And I also know that when things don't go the exact way that I think that they should go, that it's even going to be better. And sometimes it takes us to take that mindset and remember that it's not that we're doing something wrong. So manifesting magic in your everyday life. So I wanted to just talk about one thing that I posted about today. And that was, and I'm going to try to look up at the camera instead of down here, but the things that come naturally to you. Right? Yeah. It's like actually like what Eugenia was saying, the things that come naturally to you.
Natural born talent.
Yeah. When she got up on the stage for doing comedian things. And I know you're amazing at so many things, photography. And I mean, honestly, we could be out here singing, playing the guitar, things like that. Things that you think.
You do go on.
Things that you feel that are enjoyable, but they're easy at the same time, and things that you're just really good at, like we just said. So those are your gifts. Those are your natural born gifts. And unfortunately, we always don't take the time to recognize those.
Well, also, I think that we tend to admire people with different gifts a little bit more because we can't do them.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So nobody else has the same talents as you, and they may be similar, but they're never the same.
Right.
And I think that's what you're talking about. We see somebody else and we're like, oh, but they're doing that. It's never going to be like you are, because you're unique. Nobody is going to be like anybody else. But this is why wishing and wanting to be like somebody else is absolutely a waste of time and energy. And so is comparison.
Well, if they say comparison is a thief of joy.
True.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. Amen to that, because it is. So that's why, I think there's a fine line too between comparing and wanting to be inspired by somebody else. Right.
And I think that comes down to like whether or not you feel you're good enough. Because if I feel like I'm good enough and I'm comfortable with my gifts, I'm comfortable with my talent, I know where I'm going. I see someone else kind of doing the same thing. I already know that whatever I bring to the table is going to be completely different and equally.
If you have a healthy self-perception. But if you do not, then you're going to be questioning that. Right? You're going to be like, oh, well, what am I doing? So yeah, I think comparison, just know that you're wasting your time if you're doing it. And if you're,
it's self-sabotage.
Absolutely. So make sure that you use these natural gifts, be grateful for them, and let your light shine through. You're given these for a reason. And this is how you can magnetize it into your life every single day, is by when you come across those times. So if you're doing something that you love to do and it doesn't really feel like work, right? Or if it makes you happy or you find yourself lost in doing it, right? Say you love to paint, but you don't do it very often. And when you're doing it, you're like, 3 hours later, you're still doing it, or playing the guitar or anything. I mean, whatever.
Happiness and joy, I mean, they're great indicators of where you should be going and where you should be focusing your attention,
Right. And actually we had Janetta Saylor and Alberto on here a couple of times, and they're singers, and
they just get on the stage and you're like, yeah, they belong there.
But I have to say though, they talk a lot about following that intuition. Like that is something that most people would say, oh, you want to be a singer? You want to have a band? Oh my gosh. Now they're touring all around the country.
Right. But I think that the biggest, the bigger you get, the more condescension you're going to have. There's going to be more people. I mean, because really, if you think about it, and this is unfortunate, great success makes people uncomfortable, because it's kind of a reminder.
You mean the success that the people themselves are getting, or success that other people are uncomfortable with their success?
I'm saying like in an audience, like if you're really going for it, you're taking risks, you're really successful with it. I think it is a reminder to some people that they're not living their truth. They're not living outside of the box. Or you could say jealousy. That would be
and jealousy is a negative energy vibration.
Yes,
way down there on the pole of energy vibrations that we talk about.
It's way down there on the
way down there. But you're right. So, actually though, when you see that and you start feeling that twinge, we can talk about that for a minute. When you start feeling that twinge, know though that that's something giving you a message. You're getting a message then. instead of getting jealous and upset about what that person's doing, be like, okay, this is like a clue of something that I would love to do and something that's going to make me feel great.
And on the flip side as well, when you're receiving that kind of negative attention from, you know, when you're living your, just learn to block it out. Just like that's their issue, whatever, and move on.
Right. So we talked for a minute about that, how to recognize your gifts. It's basically when you start to feel that joy, when you get lost in something, but sometimes we don't pause to stop and recognize it. We don't stop to recognize the fact that this is something that we really enjoy. And maybe you start doing it on the side more. And we talked a little bit about that with Eugenia though, but maybe you go do it on the side a little bit. You have your job, but you do this a little bit on the side, and it may create something, either that may be enough for you and that gives you enough joy and soulful fulfillment, but it might be something that you can carry on with.
I always say, turn your passion into your paycheck. That's
love that saying. Yes.
That's how your passion is your platform. Your passion is your paycheck. That's
right.
That's
so how is this manifesting magic in your everyday life? It is because if you start following those little twinges of feelings that you get, those amazing things that you start to feel great about that you're doing, if you could just start going in that direction just a little bit, like just a little bit. Like I said, if it's painting, paint a couple hours a day, paint an hour a week, whatever, just start going in that direction, right? If you love to be around children, find something that you're around children more and you can hang out or, something. So that is how you start to open the flow.
Right.
I always talk about opening the flow to creating the life that you desire. When you open that flow, because you're on that higher energy vibration, that's when those things start to come to you.
Right.
And it's right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're watching us on Facebook too, so like we're twins right now. You like our shirts?
We got our swag on.
We do. Positive.
You can get this on KathleenMiner.com.
You can. Positive vibes and manifesting highs. So we've got some more sayings that are going to be coming out, because honestly, when you read this, and these are things that like I have written places and all, and it's because you automatically makes you stop and think, right? We have to have positive vibes. And we'll be manifesting highs.
Yes. And if you purchase a shirt, please don't be angry while you're wearing it all around.
You won't. You can't be. That's the whole purpose, Caitlin. Look in the mirror and read it. I know it's backwards. You guys are fine with reading it backwards. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose.
Right. Yeah, that is. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit more about that too in the next coming weeks and months and forevers. But being positive, and I know you can't be positive every day, so let's be real, right? Some days are just down days. But when you get up out of bed in the morning, you have to remind yourself that today, let's think of something good. Even if you don't think there's anything good, if you're breathing, let's count that as one.
Yes.
If you opened your eyes that morning, there's number one, right? So that's when they say there's always something to be grateful for.
There is.
There is. Right. And I know that some horrible things happen, but we have to sort of try to work through that. We're not going to get all into that right now, but manifesting magic in your everyday life is something that can absolutely be done. And so join us. So what we're going to do is we will have these things live on Facebook every week. We'll be giving you some tips and tricks on how you can open that flow and begin to manifest the life that you desire. We also have some more amazing guests coming on.
Yes.
We'll have some great co-hosts here with us as well sometimes. So, let us know. Also, email us. You can go to KathleenMiner.com. Email us any questions.
Yeah, if there's something specific that you want addressed on manifesting magic, if there's any question that you have, or I mean, even if it's like a block or you've been trying to do this and you're experiencing a block, go ahead and email.
Yeah, email us and we'll talk about it. And we'll let you know when we're going to answer that question, because what we will be doing eventually is having call-ins, so that we can answer those questions for you guys online, because you'll learn a lot from other people as well. If you're one that doesn't want to call in because you're embarrassed, although you know what, we're not going to know who you are because you're calling in.
Right.
You can say, I'm anonymous. And but we'll work through those things. You might get some tips and tricks from other people and what they've gone through, right? Or what we're telling them to help with. So I'm going to say bye on Facebook, but I'm still going to be here for a moment. Doing